Paul writing to Titus here, he tells them that you need to be a good worker. You need to be a good worker, and you need to work for what's agreed upon, and don't be taking extra stuff because you feel like you deserve it. But in everything that you do, let your work, let your service be the example of your doctrine, he says, the faith and the belief that you have in God. Let your work show what you truly believe. And if you do any kind of research on this, this is a major, major problem in our country. The millions and millions of dollars that are lost every year by employees taking things. They call it product loss. There's more that goes out the back door of a lot of businesses than goes out the front door illegally. And so, why is that? A lot of times we can feel like we deserve something more. And if you've ever had one of those starter low-paying jobs, you know exactly they do not pay you enough to do that job. That is the truth. Yep, they don't. But that's what you agreed to. And hopefully someday you'll get to work through that and find a job where they do pay you what you deserve. Maybe. But we all have that feeling of that we deserve something more, that we have earned something more than we're getting paid or what was agreed upon, and so it's easy for us to justify taking stuff, for pilfering. I just love that word. I think it's a fun word to say. But there's a call in this then to both sides of this, because it's about how we work. It's about how we treat people when we hire them or when they're in our employee. That relationship of how we treat people, Paul talks about in Titus here. He says that is in verse 10 he says, not pilfering, but showing all good faith so that in everything you may adorn the doctrine of the God our Savior. That your belief, that your faith in God is displayed in the way that you work. In the way that you work at your job displays the truth and the faith about God. And so when we take stuff, when we pilfer things from where we work or from other people or from whatever it is because we feel like we deserve it or we need it or we have to have it, when we take that, what we're doing is we're communicating that our God isn't enough. What we trust in is ourself. That it's up to us to get what is ours. That's not what God tells us. God tells us to trust in Him, to follow after Him, that He will supply and provide for us. And so we get into this idea of stealing. Again, it's way more than just taking somebody's TV. We can agree that that is wrong. This is about being faithful and honest and trustworthy in everything that we do, so that by our actions, we communicate the doctrine, the trust, and the belief that we have in God. That our faith is displayed by our actions, how we work for people, our integrity and our honesty in that displays our faith and our belief in who God is. So this moves into a lot of real world problems, right? Moves into a lot of things that apply to a lot of us. Because as we have gone through this series and as we've looked at all of this, us as humans, we're really good at justifying stuff. We're really good at saying that other people shouldn't do stuff and then justifying why we can do stuff. What God points out here is that there's a call on all of us to live in a way that displays and shows our faith in God. That our work is our testimony and our witness to those around us. And we are to do it with integrity and honesty. That we are to be well-pleasing, as Paul writes here.